Yeah, hello guys. So, welcome to this week's podcast, and thanks everyone who are actually downloading or listening to the podcast on my webcast. And I request you guys, whoever has an access to the iPhone, please do subscribe uh, to the show Minimalist Techie over the Apple Podcast. All right, uh, and I really appreciate for everyone uh, to be on this podcast. I hope everyone is staying safe over there. Uh, so stay safe, guys, everyone. And as we enter into the fall, make sure that everyone is taking the self care, as we'll be more at home in next couple of months. Um, so this week we are going to talk about multiple topics. This is more of a newsletter, the interested topics which I have gone through this week. Uh, so, how to handle negative feedback at work or at life? Uh, right? So, what is the growth mindset and why and how we should work to have such mindset? And also, this week I actually read the latest book by Netflix CEO Reed Hastings and Erin Meyer, author and professor, and only and based upon their book, they say have only a top talent in team. So it means everyone is a star performer, unlimited vacation policies they have, no decision making approvals needed. Mostly they remove all the controls, uh, and they request everyone to be very much frank and honest in their communication. And the most important, their chapter, which actually talks about lead team with context, not with the control. So that is definitely a good read in that entire book. And there are many culture related topics, what worked for Netflix and what others should learn or revisit their culture. So I don't think so you can actually read the book in either of the way just to learn about how exactly they are doing if you want to implement the same thing. But mostly culture is something you cannot simply copy and paste to the organization, right? Everyone has to be have their own culture. But at least this will tell you if someone want to revisit their culture, or at least give an idea exactly. Someone might have defined the culture, but might be no one is actually following it. What's the point of having a culture saying that we'll always true to our shareholders, but say if you're cooking your books pretty badly at the back end? So definitely there is a need for every organization every couple of years to revisit their culture, making sure that they are on their track. And also, if you have a good culture, good team in at your workplace, then there is no need for look for your profitable numbers. Automatically the profits will come onto your plate. But mostly it's very important that we talk about culture a lot, even it's about diversity or any other topic. Culture is pretty important for every organization. So this week's topic is about multiple topics, so let's dive in. We'll go topic by topic. All right. So handling negative feedback. So this is definitely most at workplace, your immediate manager or a boss has very huge impact on your day to day, or I would say weekly work, right? You cannot with your manager every week. So they can directly impact your work life, your interest actually to come to your office and deliver the results day to day. So not just the current work, but it also impacts your future at the company and your growth as well, right? Well, if someone is your boss, someone is a manager, he is responsible for your growth at the company. He is not just, yeah, he will be the one who will be approving, uh, doing your appraisal, taking you to the next position, right? So if you look at any companies Glassdoor reviews, among the lowest, like least ratings, mostly the bad manager or the bad boss, these topics come up very strongly. People don't leave companies. There is saying people don't leave companies. People actually leave bad bosses, bad managers, right? So we should know how to handle negative feedback from either from a bad manager, even from a good manager, right? Uh, Good manager might be sharing a good information, but If it's in something challenging your deliverable, sometimes it comes as a negative way. uh, so that's why it's very important that we should know how to handle that type of feedback, right? Because you cannot show emotions or simply retaliate at the workplace, right? You cannot simply fight back, give a toe-to-toe response for everything, every line which your manager is saying. So it's pretty important. Doesn't matter, even it's your workplace, even at your home, one should know how to handle the negative feedback. So it's very common that when someone shows a negative energy towards us, it actually impacts us. See, we cannot feel good about ourselves. Ideally, it is the other person reflecting the negative energy. So it is his or her pain. We should not get upset with ourselves, right? So because that person is the one who is showing the negative energy. So I clearly follow this in my real life as well, not just at work life. Because if the other person is showing some negative energy, abusing, using abusive words or anything like that, it is that person's problem. That's that person's energy. Time will teach a lesson to everyone. So mostly like at workplace, yeah, definitely someone is giving a negative feedback or at least showing a negative energy at you. In such case, I would say step away, and I mean not physically from the conversation, instead emotionally, and look at the situation they're as they're talking and hear it out as it's not about us. Okay, so don't simply step back from the conversation. That will be rude to the other person. So take step back emotionally. So don't simply respond, because when you step back, you'll take some time to construct your response as well. And sometimes you don't even have to give a response if the other person is giving. It depends upon how other person is giving the message as well, right? So step back emotionally and look at the situation. Look, see how exactly the manager is talking, and hear it out. Okay, listen it out. Okay, basically, and see it the situation as he is talking to some other person. So that it won't impact your mind. So which means is you are actually letting go of your anger and anxiety within you. So you can hear them. So you definitely need to let go your anger and anxiety so that you can hear what exactly the other person is saying. See, once you hear them out, you will be in a better position to handle such a negative energy. So let's talk about such a template at workplace. If such conversation is happening and if you're receiving a negative feedback, let's talk about some simple template, right? So first thing in the template I would say is do take notes. So hear them out, take notes about what they are sharing. So this will allow you to refer them out at a later phase, and for the other person, you are listening to them. So you're not walking away physically from them, stay with them, emotionally step back a little bit, and you're actually staying with them by letting your emotions uh, go, right? So that will let other person also know that you are hearing them. So to take a notes so that in that heat of argument you are not responding or retaliating back, right? So take the notes so you can look at it. And while the conversation is happening, while you take the notes, do not your approval. Doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with the feedback or even their energy. So you don't have to respond right away. The reason why I asked you to step back emotionally, because take notes, simply stay there, emotionally available there, and not giving you approval, that giving you a we had approval or key by through your eyes. So how are you doing showing your approval? That will actually let them calm down, or they will be done with sharing their feedback quick, as you're not retaliating, right? So you're not, because sometimes what happens if you get into that negative feedback phase, if as soon as you get a negative feedback you responding back, that will add a fuel to that conversation. That 5 minutes of feedback can go to 15 minutes or 20 minutes as well. So more than adding your nodding your approval, briefly describe back your notes. So so you're assuring them about their feedback. So maybe once say 5 minutes they are given the negative feedback, just talk to your notes and simply not just your head approval, simply let them know by your communication that you understand clearly what they are saying, just to make sure that letting them know that you have received properly their feedback. So do remember, you guys both of you are in the same team. Till you're in the same project, you have to work with each other, right? So go through the notes taken very clearly, step by step, I would say. For each point what you have taken, calm down and simply calmly look back about your own work deliverables in last 1 week, 2 weeks, three months. So based upon the feedback of what they are sharing, look back at least and try to go through each of the bullet point and see if you agree with them or not. So be a judge, be so much transparent in that review process of the feedback, because unless you are not transparent in it, you won't be able to judge the situation and respond it back. So so with the process, you should able to say for each point what's your room for improvement. So once you know that, you have your agenda for your next meeting. Okay? The other person, however they have conveyed, it's maybe a nicely as someone can convey the negative feedback that things are not working between us, or people can show with a higher anger energy as well. So don't know, right? So they can come with any type of energy. So definitely there might be some good feedback would be there. There are good managers as well. So even for so definitely that will let you know if you have any room for improvement. So work on that improvement and share your work deliverables since the last time you both have met, and ask them to be the judge. So as you are giving them importance and valuing their feedback. So make sure that you have proper template for your communication. Maybe do a mirror talk first, so that you can talk about that improvement about your deliverable. Okay, you can clearly tell them that okay, you are given such a feedback to me, then I have gone through it, and last 3 months or 3 weeks I have done so much, so these deliverables, and you can assess them, see that if I have done some improvements in it. See, there will be a case where other person is just bashing out their negative energy, and it is their attitude. See, as they are more of a controlling and the commanding nature. So can you simply okay, I'll do. Can you quickly do a Google search and see what are the negative person traits? So you'll find negative person doesn't comes with a one type of personality. People come with a different type of personality with them. So they might be controlling, or they can be very commanding in their nature as they talk. So basically, you are if you are good with your work, even in such case, do meet and simply share your work with deliverables. So say if that opposite side is not a good manager, is a bad manager, and that feedback really doesn't mean anything. It's just that that guy is showing his ego to you. Even in that case as well, simply make sure that you schedule a meeting and meet with the person and simply share your work deliverables. Don't say whether you're agreeing with him or not agreeing with him. In that case, simply give your work deliverables since the last time you both have met, and ask their feedback if they are seeing any progress since last you met. You will be amazed to see the change in their behavior as you are allowing them to be in a commanding position and you are agreeing with them. So personally, even when you are not really agreeing with them, you are actually letting the other person to take a higher side in this case. So they'll come back either positively if it's a good manager and you have done some room for improvements, or says bad manager, really there's nothing is there, he was just bashing on you back. Then that guy may simply come back for positive in that meeting at least, or will simply end up saying keep working on it. The reason why I say is this creates an ongoing conversation between you two. As you both are in the same team, it shows that you are making an effort, at least you are making that effort to work in that relationship. Okay? So the last point, the fifth point, where we talked about like work on that improvement, right? Share your deliverable, schedule that meeting and talk to that other person. Make sure that you handle this communication with care. So when you're meeting them, even when you're especially when you're personally disagreeing with those people. Okay, so I have personally once with such a negative manager, and this calmness and the stepping back approach has worked a little bit, I guess, or at least things were a little cool, keeping our own boundaries. So it definitely does not remove the hurdles for the future, uh, because that person might be in a position to promote you or not, but at least it will settle things at currently, like currently what are the bad situation you are in, at least you can cool those certain situations. So basically it is their negative energy, as I said, we should not get upset as it is their pain. Time will definitely show their negativity at some stage, sure. So they can see, time will definitely teach a lesson. So and so definitely at some point, maybe not right now, maybe after 5 years, though who knows, definitely it will come back and bite them. So doesn't matter, but having this one type of template depends upon what type of energy you carry, uh, right? Not every person is a positive, not every person is a pretty calm, right? So at workplace, make sure that even it's good feedback, it's very important that you have some template so that you can hear the other person. Even it's bad person giving a feedback, unnecessary bad feedback, then even in that case, you cannot let your emotions go on toss in workplace, right? So have any template, not just what this is what at least I follow. So I'm just sharing this out. Okay. So that's for the first topic, which is handling negative feedback at workplace. The second topic is growth mindset. This topic definitely interested me because one of my recent podcast, which I was listening to, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, mentioned about growth mindset, which was studied by Harvard University, and he recommends instead of having a know-it-all culture, Microsoft was having a know-it-all that we know it all, but they were falling behind. Uh, in case of software, Android took entire market. In case of mobile phones, so there was Samsung or Apple was the kingmaker, right? So even in the PlayStation, also they have Xbox. They have a strong content, not strong content. Sony, literally, PlayStation has a higher chance than them. So rather, these guys are not just started a 5 years ago company, right? They are staying since multiple decades now. So they want to bring that fresh culture. So he definitely turned that entire table, and I would say culture plays main role in entire from 2014 his success. Definitely culture is what it has helped him, I would say. And actually he also agrees to it, and if you listen to any of his YouTube videos. So so basically he asked his organization, rather than knowing it all culture, have a learn it all culture. And say once, so it means one person should have a learn it all. It means, yeah, definitely entire lifetime you have to keep on learning, because how to live or how to die, it will take your entire lifetime uh, to learn actually. So once you learn it all, actually again you will know it all. But problem is, yeah, you cannot stay in that mindset, right? Because things has to get in the evolving phase. So learning should never stop in the life, because as each event, each and life event or a duration in a life teaches us back, or we need to learn back from it. So learning should continue throughout our life. So this is named as growth mindset. Most like if you Google it around, growth mindset is based on the person belief that your skills, qualities are the things which you earn them by your efforts. So you're spending some effort by adding certain skills and the qualities to your arena. So in order to get into the growth mindset, it's not about just working hard, because it's not about simply working or learning some technical skills or soft skills. Uh, I would say person needs to entirely change their mindset. Then only we can learn new things. Then only we can communicate with others within an open mind, right? So in order to get into growth mindset, do not think that we can pick a book and start learning some technical skills, or right, or even like soft skills, like add your qualities, change your quality. Yes, we can learn many of these soft skills, hard skills, but the most important thing is that we change the way we think and adapt towards those learned things. Because as a person, we need to look everything from a new perspective if we are not in the right state of mind. So having that right state of mind is important for any person to continue in the growth mindset. Example, say if I overthink every situation, and sometimes yeah, I do overthink every situation, then there is a need to change my mindset, or to not wander off with the information. Okay? Rather, a- analyzing that information, and I should be able to articulate and be a better decision maker, right? So in such case, if we need to have a mindset that kicks out our distractions, if I get into a problem, I simply start overthinking and I'm all over the place. It's not going to help me, right? So definitely a person should have a right mindset, so that when such type of distractions occur, we have to see any matter with clarity. To be with a growth mindset, need to have some below changes, I would say. So how to get, so any person can enable themselves by making some changes into their lifestyle, so that they can get into this mindset. So couple of them are from my own, couple of them are reading from other books. Uh, so I'll just say one by one. So be disciplined. It's pretty important. Unless a person is disciplined, it's very hard to achieve anything. Second is live intentionally and consciously. See, this is my recent learning from Seneca's essay. He has very well defined in the book on the shortness of life why every individual has to live intentionally and consciously. He argues that everyone wastes a lot of time in their lifetime. So one has to value the time, because time never stops. So, yeah, so live intentionally. Third, person should able to show compassion. This is definitely the important, that unless you don't know how to show compassion for other person, you will end up getting into the other person's negative energy. Fourth is able to take self-care and care for others. This is pretty important, as an individual, one should know how to take care of themselves physically, mentally, and also should able to take care of others. So you need to have that type of a personality for sure. And fifth one is you should shine in diversity. So to shine in diversity, you need to become a very collaborative team member, either at workplace or at home. So diversity is person other than you is definitely diversity, because every person is comes with a unique attitude or style, right? So make sure that you collaborative in the nature. Sixth is you should able to make a decision with a clarity. Take an example of previously which I mentioned. Not overthink every situation. What are the information you should have? You should able to see the information, able to articulate and make certain decision, right? So you should able to make a decision with a clarity. Next is you should able to answer your own honor and stand to it. So do define your values against which you stand for. So if you end up doing shit, and you cannot simply blame on someone else, because you need to define your own values as a person. Then be determined, be patient, do not show emotions, step back always emotionally, which we talked about in the previous topic, and always think before you respond. Do not allow negative energies of others impact the real you. So stick to your values, be self-motivated in all aspects of life. Only then you can get into such a growth mindset. And might be at work or might be at home, be genuine as a person. So do not sell your ethics for a business deal. or for your wants or your needs. Doesn't matter at home or at work. Be a genuine person. So you see that I'm not talking anything about in this mindset about learning a technical skill. You can say that yeah, a couple of them are like soft skills, but as a person not to be in the growth mindset, these are the one which I definitely think person has to be have to have some type of template in his life. Define that I want to show compassion. Define for himself that I want to be pretty determined. Right? Have his own value system. So these are something which is very important for every person to define their own template. Let me know what else you think about growth mindset so that we can definitely discuss more. Okay, coming back to third topic, which is no rules. Yeah, basically, not even a single rule will rule. It means actually no rules, right? So, this is a Netflix. This book is about the Netflix and the culture of reinvention at Netflix. So, this book is by Netflix CEO Reed Hastings and Erin Meyer. She's an American author and a professor. She has one of the most top trending book in the workplace, which is Culture Map, which was released in 2014. I'm reading it right now. So definitely a good book, which gives you culturally how exactly we are different from each other, and we should know those cultural differences to able to communicate at a global, uh, in the global and in the international. If your company is global, right? So this no rules. This book was definitely trending on LinkedIn as soon as it got launched and also over Amazon. If you look into this week, this week or last week, maybe I guess last week because I have completed this article last week. So, in Amazon top 20 charts among the non-fiction, this guy is sitting in ninth or eighth position, I guess. So definitely this is in the top 20 right now, and also I have gone through some short interviews of Netflix CEO in last couple of years. I would say, yeah, definitely I've seen a couple of Reed Hastings interviews where he talks about culture. So mostly I'll talk about multiple things what I heard from him or especially from this book. See, Netflix right now holds almost like 183 or something 182 million subscribers, and they're simply growing big day by day. Especially looking at their interface, their algorithms running to scan top trending shows or curating a content specific to the user watch. So for sure, that much amount of streaming with a high definition calls for huge data centers, network response rates, optimization, huge big data systems at backend. Yes, I'm an IT professional, so apart from shows, these are the few things which definitely interested me when I see anything on the web with a great interface. So definitely for me, when I looked at it, I definitely want to know what skill their team has, technical skills or soft skills, and what is their team culture, right? Definitely that entire team should be pretty strong or else it's very hard to succeed, right? How they are succeeding moving into the production for giving such a wider audience and interface which is just growing since last decade, right? Yeah, there are many contenders are there, but Netflix is definitely a special case. uh, they have literally changed that entire television industry and how the streaming industry. So definitely this Netflix is going to have a special place in this that type of streaming services. So let's come to the book. Book is divided into three topics. So briefly we'll talk about it. First topic is talent density. So the chapter says that talent density, a great workplace is a stunning colleagues always. So author mentions that having the team of 10 performing people is way better than 20 average performing people. So that is their fundamental rule. What they are saying is only top performer rather than holding 10 people, or in this example 20 average people. 10 good performing people are good enough for them. So if you read the book, you'll know that they have learned this starting of their company, where they have to retain top 80 performers and fire 40 non-performers. Even the borderline resources who are actually above average, near to that excellence, but when they have to take that call to select the top 80 and fire the lower 40 non-performer resources. So that as an example has let them know that uh, if they have more talented people, the talented people actually enrich among other talented people. So, so if you understand, talent density is like having a top performers in a team where they will challenge each other. At the same time, they keep on learning with the other skill, and they will evolve. So having such type of a team, like entire organization is full of top performers. So mostly, like if you seen multiple prior videos, you'll see that Netflix is pretty fast in moving people, hiring and firing both. So, but if you, because at least I've gone through the book, and uh, I don't think they do simply hire and fire people. They have something called as the keeper's test. Basically, what they do is they ask managers the pretty simple question, saying that would you rehire the person, or would they keep the person if they are going to some other company? And this tells them whether employee is a keeper or not. If not, they can fire with a very generous pay of 4 to 6 months of salary. This is for entry level. I guess for senior level, if the salary is high, maybe 1 month or 2 months is what they're paying. So it means everyone in the organization as they join, they know that if they don't perform, they are going to get fired. So, and they say that when they fire, they'll always give them the higher generous pay as well when they're firing them. So if you simply go through this keepers test, you'll understand that they are not really simply fast in hiring and firing. We all know that. But the only thing is that whenever things are not working, they'll immediately take that chance and fire the resource and get someone else who would be better fit to that particular position. See, every company says we are a family, and historically, many companies treat it as a family. Netflix says we are a team, like a professional football team. So they want only top performers in the team. Just to, it's like to win a championship, they need to have only top performers in their entire team, right? So if you see that how in order to have only top performers in a team, they need to pay higher compensation as well, right? In order to maintain such teams. So in face of family culture in organization, not even non-performers will be given multiple chances again and again. But that's not their culture vision. Their fundamental rule is if performing, he's in. If he's a keeper. If not, he's out. So I guess to have only top performers in a team, they have to move people out sooner than other organization, and it comes with a cost, right? The higher the because the talented people, if and high top performers come with a higher compensation as well to be on team, or they have to give extended pay to find the resources. So top performing team is a common goal. Okay, and I would say they need a top performers as well in a team. At the same time, entire team should have a common goal as well. Right? Then only someone can win the championship. So analogy of getting such performing team is been compared with the professional athlete. Athlete Reed mentioned that if a player knows if they get injured or they may lose their career as well, but they won't simply stay in that fear, right? They continue to perform better to their best. It's just that, okay, I'm going to run a lot, maybe I'll hurt my knee and I'll lose my career. I won't be stop running, right? If I'm athlete, I'll be continue to perform better. So such work culture requires to have employees to perform best every day, instead of being pressurized or getting fired. See, I guess at least high performing team members for sure will end up having conflicts. But having a common goal like a football team to win the championship not just require technical skills, also you cannot have an entire team all messy, right? So, uh, I would say I don't think they just require technical skills. They also require people skills, personal skills like grit, determination, self motivation, you name it, all have to be at their best when they are at work. So, also, at least I'll take an example. When I recruit for my own team or my own division for a data warehousing practice, that's where I belong. So, it's never possible for me to get all top performers due to the budget constraints. So, this part in the book resonated with me a lot because I have always been so rigid in getting a right resource as it is the best interest of the company rather than filling the immediate position. So at least I resonated with this with a lot. But I guess, and also I guess one more thing is they are right now they are so big that they're able to shell out higher compensation to get a top talent. And Reed also mentioned that once they went public to the shareholders, only then they were able to enable this culture more. And earlier also they have the same fundamental vision, but he was like, be scrappy, whatever money you have it, whatever so the best you can do it with what you got, right? So that's what his recommendation was. So talent density was the first. Second topic in the book, if you see, it is increasing candor. So if you don't know what it is, like the quality of being open and honest in expression, frankness. So at a workplace, this is definitely interesting topic for me at least. Many people in my own work culture told me, Sridhar, be diplomatic. Don't be so much straightforward. Don't be so much frank in your expression. But at workplace, yeah, to be diplomatic. Uh, this story has been shared a lot since more than decades. Their culture has challenged psychology in many aspects. I would say, right? Everyone, even psychology, everyone, many people say be very conservative, be very diplomatic when you're talking to other person. But I would say looking into their culture, it might be talent density, maintaining not just about hiring the people with the top talent, right? They need to have a common goal. It means everyone should be working towards a common goal as well. So the team has to work work with the same vision of the growth. So definitely they are definitely challenged psychology in many aspects. It is true that one have to be very open and honest in their expression and be frank. Yes, one cannot be so frank that they end up hurting others' feeling, right? So there is an art or lesson to be learned here to convey such a feedback within a positive intent and honest in your opinion, so that it's up to the other person whether they take your feedback or not, right? But so this they definitely recommend at their workplace, and it's cyclic feedback, and they encourage at every level of the organization. Even someone can go to the CEO and give a feedback. Someone can go to the CEO and give that, not just a manager giving to his resource, right? So rather than complaining to the manager about the colleague, they ask the person if they have shared the feedback directly to their colleague against which they are complaining. So Reed compared this lesson from his marriage counseling days when both husband and wife initially they have in initial stage of his career they have to go through uh, this phase, and from his counseling days he learned that being honest in conversation, being frank, has definitely helped them as a couple for more than 2 decades. Then the third thing, uh, at so this candor is definitely is an interesting topic, which definitely I'll recommend you to go through the book once. Then the third one in the topic is, in the book is, sorry, is removing controls at work. So if you read the book, it's like they have funnel shaped approach. for all the three sections like talent density, candor, then removing control. So basically, these are the three topics, but in the funnel shape, these same three topics are being explained in three different chapters. So first three chapters, talent density, candor, removing controls, then again same three, then again same three. But they have implement. They are asking that you cannot implement in one single shot, right? So have to start small and then fine tune the culture day by day. So just like now, let's talk about removing controls. You'll understand why exactly uh, that funnel approach is there for every topic three times in the book. Okay, so they have removed many controls, like policies as well, which you have known without reading this book. If you have followed the company culture in or if you have read some articles, you definitely know that they don't have vacation policy. Yes, one can take unlimited vacation. Uh, if you think unlimited vacation, right? So they have removed. They don't have any policy of vacation. Many person can take any number of days leave. See, Americans for sure, uh, when they have dedicated vacation time in a year, like 12 days per year, 20 days per year, hardly 60% is max. They end up using them. Or some companies are actually forcing the employees to take the leave. So some will take, or some actually stay in fear of getting away from work, may lose their position at work. So they some stay simply in that fear that if they step back out of work for 10 days, they may lose their position. So taking a break and from work and coming back has clearly shown with multiple studies that a person will come back with a very clear vision rather than grinding the same thought process all year. So this is the one more element of psychology that they are bending, because they know that no person would take will be taking vacation for entire year, right? So uh, as once they have a talent density, top performers, everyone excels at their work. So there is no fear of losing their job. So that will actually allows them to take break and simply come back with the clarity or with a fresh mind later on. And some other policies like they don't have any no travel and expense approvals are needed. Yes, you can book any type of hotel, you can book any type of flight tickets, business class. You can just book it. You don't require any approvals as well. And they are also don't encourage. They don't even have they no decision making approvals are needed at workplace. If you have read their earlier articles, they mentioned about uh, a person judgment a lot. So uh, they allow people to use their best judgment, and no one in the team should be surprised that they all are intellectuals, top performers. They should see what is best for their company. So as a team, if you make a good decision or individual is making that decision, they allow that particular person's judgment or sixth sense uh, rather than going through an approval workflow. So this line is from the book, which says that a culture that valued people over process uh, has increased the innovation levels in the organization. Okay, so author mentions about building the culture and relooking at it again and again when businesses are especially moving global. See, as we'll get more diverse people, we need to understand and respect other countries, other work culture. So their diversity. So figure out what are the values for an organization and redefine the culture which resonates with the diversity. So diversity is something which many people are talking about these days. Why? And definitely, even I agree that we have pressing needs right now to address it. When if in a country like not, we still going through Black Lives Matter, right? So not just country like USA, even a country like India as well, where every single country has an entire India, where it's just a single country, but it has so much diversity in languages, culture. So forming a winning diverse team requires a lot of changes, and companies should come forward and bring such a cultural change within that organization. So every employee is in line with the organization values and culture. you cannot simply form a diverse team. You cannot fire everyone, and so actually it will start with the hiring uh, phase. As you add resources, add you people move out, and you have to rehire. So start with the hiring process. That's the best place. Whenever you're bringing someone, because of your iteration or because of your growth, you have to add more employees. Then see that you are forming a diverse culture in your teams. And for someone starting out, Reed mentions that uh, he mentions his own failures with smile, like saying that this is from one of his interview. He says he started 10 companies, but only two were successful. So he compared this with the skydiving, saying that you simply have to jump out of the plane, knowing that there is no parachute available to you. Just expect that when you are starting out, there will be a bird which you are going to catch on the way for a safe landing. So has Hasbury be that irrational if you're starting out. Uh, Factory model, top-down management, workers follows the rules. So this culture has influenced us since many decades. Even it might have worked for manufacturing. This top-down model still runs in IT culture in any different organization, right? Uh, so this factory model, top-down management, this culture is definitely impacted us, influenced us in many decades. So culture change requires a lot more freedom, tolerate some small mistakes, and do not seek efficiency, seek flexibility. And as per him, he says managing under the edge of chaos. So, and he recommends team organize around innovation, uh, also inspire people instead of supervising people. Read this chapter for sure. Set the context instead of the control. So let employees lead employees with context, not with control. Yeah, this was definitely a pretty good chapter. Anyone have anyone, not just if you're a fan of any organization, any upcoming leader, or any employee, make sure that you sell a context. Don't try to supervise people. Hmm? So these were just my quick notes from a book or from the latest interviews of the author, and some of them are my responses I was going through. So another thing which I liked, especially from the book, is the narration of the chapter from Reed first and then from Erin Meyer. So I have not talked much about Erin's narration in the podcast. For this, definitely I'll recommend you to read the book, as her part of narration touches culture, psychology, etc., which are definitely pretty good read. So I guess she has interviewed more than 200 of Netflix mm, employees, and not just retelling this is what he envisioned, this is what worked for them, knowing she has given the side of from employees as well, right? Because it has to work. Culture is something which everyone in the organization should follow. Then only they can emerge as such a successful player in the market. And yeah, at least when I was reading the book, and also Reed mentioned in one of his interview that uh, a book can be read by someone who is just starting out in their career to see how to form culture from the beginning in their organization or existing companies. They can agree or they can disagree, but they can at least revisit their own culture. Okay, and use it in either way. Even I agree to it. Definitely a one good and quick read for me. So I'm going to spend some time this week. If you don't have access to the book, I'm posting one link from their website, which is jobs.netflix.com/culture. On their company website, they have posted. I remember a couple of years back, they have Reed has posted entire company's culture PPT over the web. So it's also there. The document is also there on the website. So I'm going to share that link in the show notes. And uh, in the article, I mentioned that my plan is to read Erin Meyer's book, her prior book. So she's the co-author of this current book, No Rules Rules. But her prior book, I got it. So I'm right now this week. I'm almost about to complete, but definitely it's a pretty good book. Uh, Culture map breaking through invisible boundaries of global business. Do give a read. I'm sharing that link as well in the show notes, so you can check out that book as well. That's all for this week. Uh, so we talked about three different topics this week: how to handle negative feedback at work, and having a growth mindset. And third is we talked about such a top trending book, No Rules Rules, Netflix culture, and all that, right? So do subscribe our Apple Podcast if you prefer audio version of my articles, because uh, in podcast I add more, or I'll talk more than I have written already in the post. Okay. If you don't have access to Apple Podcast, you can simply click on the link on your browser. You can play that audio and listen to it. So if even you launch my own website, Sridhar Gargipati, my name, .substack.com, even over there, this podcast link is available. So you can click on audio directly from website and listen to it. Okay. So that's all from this week. So if you liked this week's post, then definitely do share with your friends, like, and do sub do request your friends, or if you haven't subscribed, then do subscribe as well. Uh, that's all for this week. Stay connected, share ideas, and spread happiness.